It's an annual tradition in the UN General Assembly, a briefing by the G20 Sherpa to member states on key priorities under a G20 presidency as part of efforts to promote transparency, coherence, mutual understanding and cooperation in matters of global economic governance.
Midst of what the United Nations Secretary General has referred to as a global polycrisis, the interconnected nature of the threats facing humanity today, poverty, inequality, hunger, ever escalating geopolitical tensions, fragmentation, global warming, pandemics, energy and food insecurities, but also rising intolerance and armed conflict is causing further hardship and suffering. These challenges are jeopardizing our collective future, particularly our future generations. One of the greatest impediments to growth, development and stability is the persistence of inequality within and between countries.
Highlighted South Africa's G20 priorities and deliverables that seek to promote strong, sustainable, balanced and inclusive growth. This includes efforts to strengthen disaster resilience and response, ensuring debt sustainability for low-income countries, mobilizing finance for a just energy transition, and harnessing critical minerals for inclusive growth and sustainable development.
Strongly believes that we need to strengthen the multilateral system and enhance international cooperation to solve the complex challenges facing the world. The erosion of multilateralism, as has been pointed out earlier, presents a threat to global growth and stability, and we should all vigorously contest this. It is thus imperative that we place the respect for the purposes and principles of the UN Charter, including international law, international humanitarian law, and human rights, at the center of all our discussions on the global geopolitical situation.
And a recognition that without peace, efforts towards development, equity and inclusion will fall short, in a context where the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals continues to dramatically fall short of expectations.
South Africa has shown firm resolve in our own foreign policy by promoting the principles of justice, solidarity, equality, peace, and respect, underpinned by our commitment to human dignity and to leaving no one behind. We see the G20 summit in November 2025 as a forum where cooperation and collaboration amongst global leaders will be taken to a high level. This, we hope, will be our enduring legacy in the G20.
Of firm solidarity towards South Africa's vision from a cross-section of UN officials and member states.
South Africa for continuing to champion the cause of the Global South, particularly that of Africa. Indeed, South Africa is the fourth consecutive presidency of the Group of 20 from the Global South. Its presidency also marks the first time that the Group of 20 meetings are being held on African soil. This is a powerful and symbolic opportunity to advance solutions to the socio-economic and security problems confronting the continent.
The African Group strongly supports the priorities presented by South Africa presidency, reflecting the most pressing concerns and aspirations of developing countries, particularly across the African continent. The priorities just highlighted are strongly aligned with key areas of focus of the African Union as reflected in the Agenda 2063, the Africa we want.
And South Africa for its focus on capacity building. We also support the emphasis South Africa is putting on private sector mobilization, including through its ambition to further strengthen the G20 Compact with Africa on domestic resources mobilization and on fighting illicit financial flows. You can very much count on the European Union in supporting the South African G20 presidency in its priorities for this year.
Beyond UN engagements, Dangor was also set to meet with civil society, including with the UN Foundation and the International Peace Institute, among others. There was much to digest in Dangor's briefing, but the words cooperation, collaboration and partnership featured prominently. It will be lost on no one the complicated moment South Africa currently faces from countries like the United States, to which Pretoria will hand over the G20 reins later this year. There was no US delegation present in the room for Dangor's briefing, but according to diplomats, a meeting of the G20 Troika, which includes Brazil and the United States, is planned for Washington, D.C. on Friday, in what will be the highest level visit by a government official to the US capital since President Donald Trump's executive order targeting South Africa in February. Sherman Bryceby's SABC News, New York.